Good morning and welcome to a new day, your favorite weekend show on Signature TV, a show where we promise to keep you inspired and informed with expert interviews and quality content. It's a new day, the 6th day of September 2025, and we promise, like I said earlier, to keep you updated. I'm Chigichi Agorom, I'm your anchor, and we want you to be a part of today's show. So go on over to our social media platforms on YouTube, on Facebook, at Signature TV Official. We would like you to like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe. We are live 247 on SLTV Channel 265, and you can download Signature TV app from your Google Play Store. Don't go anywhere. New Day continues right after now with newspaper headlines and reviews. Stay with us. And if you're just joining us, this is New Day, your favorite weekend show on Signature TV, and this is our newspaper headlines and reviews segment. First up on Saturday Punch. From sit-at-home mastermind to prisoner, rise and fall of Simon Ekpa. Fresh Ebola outbreak. Federal government tightens border control. It rises. Government reactivates portals, employs more surveillance staff. WHO releases $500,000 as pandemic kills 16 in Democratic Republic of Congo. Page 4. On entertainment, divorce doesn't stop me from being a good father, coming from Jim Ike. Page 10. In other news, Umwada, how Igboland's powerful sisterhood terrify women and silence men. Only ladies living off men feel threatened by my videos. Gege, controversial influencer says. Parties clash over El-Rufai's probe for criminal conspiracy. Page 4. Police killed my son for attempting to preach to Cross River governor. Coming from mother. And finally, on Saturday Punch, Idel Malud, governors, CAN, call for peace and unity. On Saturday Tribune, above the mast, face criminal elements, allow opposition leaders to breathe. ADC tells police and federal government. Rider, Article 1 Tinubu against authoritarian drift. Page 4. Below the Saturday Tribune mast, 46 suspected bandits arrested in Kwara. With rider, no Oba in our custody, CP says on page 7. Army kills 11 terrorists. NAB scores of suspects in nationwide operations. Page 5. Still on Saturday Tribune, we used to patrol bank areas to get our targets. Ibado armed robbery suspect reveals on page 7. We would watch out for anyone carrying a polythene bag out of a bag. We usually knew people with money because of the shape of the polythene bag. Over to the Saturday Times, above the mast, PDP is bigger than Wike, coming from Plateau ex-governor Tagun. Page 2. WHO urges Nigeria to allocate 20% of budget to public health. Page 4. Tenants and agents, landlords debate rising costs of rent in Nigeria. Page 8. On entertainment, Deola Alade gets real about working with her husband, Dare. Page 12. In other news, federal government diffuses tension around 5% fuel tax, says implementation remain dormant. Page 4. Edo anti-cultism squad arrests 9 suspects. Page 4. Lupeng accuses Dangote Dantata of monopolizing oil sector, vows shutdown. Page 5. Middle Belt counters El-Rufai's comments against Southern Kaduna. Page 2. And finally, on Saturday Times, Wizkid secures record-breaking pay for Algerian concerts. Page 13. On Saturday Vanguard, Peter Obi to Tinubu, your vacation isn't more important than Nigeria's protection duty. Page 7. On 2026 WCQ, Osimhen leads Super Eagles attack against Amaubi, with rider Bafana pile more pressure on Nigeria, hit Lesotho 3-0 on back page. On Home Affairs, Yahoo Boys, the gospel of fast money, page 12. Still on Saturday, Vanguard, battle to unseat Tinubu, a national consensus, not northern conspiracy, coming from Tambuwal, page 3, with riders backs the president on state police, loud on why it may be difficult to defeat him in 2027. On health, delayed breakfast linked to early death for elderly, with rider 30 minutes exercise slashes cancer cell growth, page 41. How Afrobeat superstars are redefining global music. I'll take that again. How Afrobeat superstars are redefining global music scene, page 8 to 10. Their lifestyles, money, cars, jets. Simplified ports processes key to raising export volumes, coming from Adeni, page 34. Riders, customs generates 3.7 trillion naira at Apapa port in 16 months. Mike Okonkwo at 80. The bishop who keeps it real, page 13. On Blueprint Weekend, real reasons deputy governors don't succeed their principals, according to investigation, with riders, inordinate ambition, trust issues, greed, major concerns, pages 8 and 9. INEC devolves voter registration to ward level in Federal Capital Territory and suspends online pre-registration. Local equities market sheds 833 billion naira. World Cup South Africa, Rwanda pile pressure as Eagles face Rwanda, page 31. On Igbo language culture, divided by dialects, united as a tribe, pages 17 to 20. And finally, on Blueprint Weekend, Army kills 11 terrorists, nabs 64 suspects in nationwide operations, page 11. Next up, The Guardian Weekend. On MTV interview, Nigeria will be better off without politics of prebendelism, coming from Ihua. On Inside Stuff, Tinubu should overhaul NTA as Voice of Africa. Spotlight on the Naira, trudging up to long-term stability as CBN reforms take roots. On South-South, an oil-rich region with dunghills of abandoned projects, pages 8 and 9. Still on the Weekend Guardian, foundations to honor Elumelu, New York Archbishop for exemplary leadership, page 42. On Eid al-Maulud, Nigerians felicitate Muslims, with rider Tinubu's wife, Sanwo-Olu, Ishola, others urge peace and tolerance, page 2. Closing gender gaps could add $229 billion to Nigeria's GDP, according to Minister, page 2. Unilag honors Diri with book on leadership, proposes professional chair endowment, page 4. Finally, on the Weekend Guardian, Nupeng urges federal government to invoke powers of private sector participation in PIA, page 43. And that's the much we can take on today's segment of the newspaper headlines. We'll move over quickly to our newspaper review, and Christy Oracle Madoka is in studio as usual to give this segment so much life and analysis. Good morning, Chris. Thank you for joining us again this morning.
Good morning, Chigi. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm going to be better.
Going to be?
Well, with hope in God.
I'm not sure I like that phrase, going to be.
It means I have hope that I'm going to be better. Things are going to be better.
All right.
Remember the song, Things Are Getting Better?
You want to take us to church?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And welcome. This is another day of new day on Signature Television Newspaper Review. let's just start with the punchy punch. It says the rise and fall of Simon Ekpa. Sounds like a rise and fall of Idi Amin. But the real question is, has Simon Ekpa really fallen? And that is going to jail for 6 years in Finland has not brought a complete fall of Simon Ekpa. If you look at the processes, when you say from sit-at-home mastermind to prison, in some places still in southeast Nigeria, sit-at-home is still observed, directly or indirectly, officially or unofficially. So if Simon Ekpa has really fallen, has sit-at-home fallen, or some of the mindsets of people who believe in what Simon Ekpa claimed he was fighting, has that one fallen too? So it's easy to make big headlines, rise and fall. So, it sounds like what Nollywood can take to bank. And before you know it, you have rise and fall of a Kepa. They can change the name. After they did Bakasi, they turned
Kabasa or something like that. I do remember.
Nollywood has a way of...
Isakaba.
So, being real, you can jail people, but if the cause they are fighting or what they push has not been jailed, what happened in recent past might continue in recent future. I'm not saying anything, but I know that in Southeast Nigeria, Simon Ekpa has a lot of followers. Some of them are still there. So it means one Simon Ekpa is jailed, but when many Simon Ekpa are still rolling in Southeast Nigeria. Or even can be in other countries. After all, Simon Ekpa was in Finland, but he did a lot of things in Southeast Nigeria and some other part of Nigeria. That's about that. So it's something I'm dropping, a food for thought for us. Is it really gelling? Is it really that is solving the problem, or trying to look at what is this thing that is making people come up and have a massive followership, and when they tell them this, there's those things that happened in 1967 or beyond 1967, from 1966 to a certain group of people in Nigeria. Is it still happening? If it's still not happening, then everybody has reason to say somebody is actually poking the embers of trouble. But if those things are still finding, not like it will be Eldorado, but you still find it to a great extent and is manifested. And many people are saying, we are marginalized. We are not doing this. We are not doing this. Why shouldn't somebody from Southeast Nigeria be a president of Nigeria after about almost 60 years of war? Why the stigmatization? Why? So if those things are still the issue, let Nigeria, if we are sincere, look at it. It's not about somebody come up to talk about it to jail. We might have a Nigerian jail so soon, or any other jail anywhere, going to be filled soon with that. So tackle the sickness and leave the symptoms. With Nigeria is used to tackling symptoms, and what is dealing with us, keep dealing with us. So that's about it. So, well, we look at it as the mandate. We'll be looking at it. Ebola again. Border control. Is it political? Are we going to play politics with it? And I'm sure when the stone, he said when the building is collapsing, the roof cannot stand. So in this case, I'm not encouraging federal government to say, I'm not telling them anything, because my father told me, when it happens to the eyes, when it happens to the nose, it happens to the eyes. Whether you are big or small, whether you are in National Assembly or in Aso Rock, if Ebola as COVID enters, so the Ministry of Health, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, if they know how to pound, let them pound inside the mortar. If they don't know, let them pound on the ground. Because what goes around comes around. Because like every Nigerian situation, you will now see that Ebola has killed some 15 people in a country nearby, and they will say border control. And we have customs manning our borders. We have security manning our borders. And they still go there. Are they manning? Are they still greasing palms, accepting grease of palms, and then overlooking certain things? And then when it happens, nobody knows who will go first. So that's one thing. It's calling for everybody to be at alert, protect yourself, while we're expecting the federal government to still protect us, or the Federal Ministry of Health and CDC. Umuada terrifies women, silences women. I think this is a very bad record for Umuada in Southeast Nigeria, the Umuada I know. Umuada is a functional and active governance structure in Igbo democratic system that have defied even the colonial masters. They are still studying the governance structure they found in Igbo land when they came for colonization. And the part of the reason the Southeast Nigerians and anybody called Igbo bearing Igbo identity all over the world is not liked by the colonial masters is that they came, they thought you were going to walk through like they walked through so many ancient kingdoms. And they came to Igbo land and they found the existing structure of democracy of governance. Or they say governance structure. You cannot say democracy because they know it can be another name. It can be Igbocracy. But they could not fathom it, and they tried to do divide and rule, and they met a lot of. And these are the people who do not care. They don't give a hoot. And who's they don't. I'm not on young rules. They want to see their community govern well. You can be a rich man. You can be Mwada. You can be Anotarabi. You can be Ndi Colombia. Everybody has a role, and it is a general consensus. A liberal society that you find yourself, egalitarian. Everybody will be involved in getting a position for you. So don't want that. The daughters born within a kindred, they have a power. So they have a say. The women married into the kindred have a say and a position. Yeah. Then the Colombia, the young men have. That's why they say in a typical Igbo community, everybody is involved. They even want, they encourage people who, they encourage the peace. They encourage the prayer warriors. They encourage the wise people. They have their sects. When it is time for wise things, they will now consult. They say, hey, elders, go. When it is time for fight, they now go for the Indian Colombia. When it comes to keeping balance within the marriage in a society, the man and the woman, if a man is in Igbo society those days, you don't have what you call gender. You can't. A woman married complains to her mother that their brother is still treating her badly. They will come. And they have a way of getting that man to be said. That's why if they say men fear, silence men. If a man says, I'm married, they say, so what? We are married somewhere. So whatever it find in Sokoto is here in Sokoto. So we need the balance, because if it happen to the woman married here, it can happen to us where we go. So the balance. That's the role of Umuada. And when the kindred are about to scatter and they want to kill themselves, and the Umuada steps in, and they say, who is the troublemaker among our brothers? They point at the person, they will do investigation and find out this man is in trouble. They will give him ultimatum. One thing, if you want to stay in this kindred, we are with you. But if all these brothers are raising their hand against you, then something is wrong with you. You know the Umuada, what they call it, weekend. That is the highest spiritual. They will strip naked and roll their nyash on the ground in that compound. And it has happened. I've seen. My father has shown me compound where Umuada went to do such things. No single living human being exists there like a male child. If you say you are above Umuada and they get to that level of spirituality to deal with you. So Umuada has what it calls structural democratic structure. They even have spiritual control. So Umuada is not what people are going about now. A lot of Umuadas, you find this, they don't have a history of Umuada in Ebola. They think it's Gen Z come together and gossip. No! Umuada had a role, critical role in Igbo structure. Just like the women. That's why when people come and tell you, you see what the Igbo people fear Igbo people. You can't come to Igbo land and say gender. Igbo society is arranged in mass female 9. That's how even one. Every Igbo society is named against a woman.
Yeah.
Umu, the children of. You find everything. Yes.
One.
He say Izukama
and
they find a way of this. So is a whole book, is an encyclopedia. Let's call it Signepedia. If people need to learn from Signature TV, they want, because these are things they scratch. You know, these days everybody is just joining stories. People should study Umuada, and there's a lot of studies existing on Umuada political structure in Igbo land. They exist in the schools. But what the schools are doing in the universities, students will go do research, and if you go to school and see how they, in the rain, outside, rotting in the projects people have done in psychology, in archaeology, in cultural studies, humanities, touching on these sensitivities that are not stored, are not restored. Thank God for modern technology, where you can even have soft copy. But go to some universities, you will cry. Hula barrow about project. Students will spend money, collect money from parents, do project, do it, buy in the 5 copies, share. If you go to departments and see where they kept these things, you will cry for Nigeria. Nigerian universities fading away like stars of the morning. Well, that's by the way. So Umuada have a role. They don't terrify anybody. They actually keep peace. Criminal conspiracy about the Erufile and the party clashes or whatever. Then a lot of people have talked about that. Let it not be what we are thinking. Let it be that the police, the security forces are trying to keep peace. Let it be that they are doing selective. When the oppositions come, they want to silence them. Let it not be. Let it not be. May God help Nigeria, let it not be. So that we still keep what we call democratic sanity. Otherwise, Nigeria will tilt towards authoritarianism, and it will be that means survival of the fittest. And you know what that means? It becomes state of nature. The oldest day of primitivism that we go descend in 2025. And the world are watching us, Nigerians. Whatever we do, when somebody say I'm an APC and ADC, whatever you call it, the police invite you and they start. When they know these things are there before, a Nigerian who is afraid of coalitions and all this, 46 suspects arrested in Kwara banditry. We patrol bank areas to get our target. These are things that, openings that are going to tell Nigerians. You know, like a lot of Nigerians are loud and happy people. But when the things start happening, you know that as you are moving, that the leg that waka, wala, 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 that eye that see, para, they see. That's what the confession of a criminal. And every Nigerian, anywhere, shouldn't pretend he didn't hear this. That people actually keep the watch over in a bank, anywhere you have banks, watching people going in and out. And in that company, he said, we know the shape of any polythene bag containing words of naira. And people are saying, do not carry words of naira again, use digital. But even at that, but then, it is more inviting to have words of naira in bags, especially our dear Igbo brothers who are traders, who like to see cash. You know, it gives them blood. So many times, PDP is bigger than Wike. We want to see that in action. That's a wonderful thing. If they begin to realize that PDP is bigger than we, because I was thinking it's we DP before. But now if P is still in PDP, then we is not bigger than P. And they have to prove that by action, not by words. Who advises Nigeria to keep 20% of our budget allocation to public health?
Public health.
And then public health means that even our National Assembly, as a rock, everybody in public space uses this 20%. Already, the Nigerian public health, whatever percentage they allocated, they take it back because they throw away and catch. We at one time had the budget of Asorok Clinic. The general budget given to Ministry of Health in Nigeria was, I think that should be almost 50% of what the whole country gets. But Asorok, one clinic in a government house in Nigeria got, you know, that will tell you we are deceiving ourselves. And we know we don't need the WHO to tell us how many percentage of our allocation to give to our public health. If they really care, do they project? Because all of them, the president goes abroad for treatment, the vice president go abroad for treatment, the Senate president just went recently, all. Imagine where they go. Some of them go to Ghana. Did I say Ghana? India. And all that. We are not ashamed. This has happened over time. So they cannot. WHO knows that's why it's advising. Is it not shameful? You come and tell people how to take care of your health and your people. We are ashamed. WHO has to tell Nigeria 20%. Check the budget allocation of Nigeria. Bring out the 20%. See whether it's enough to take care of 240 million Nigerians. If you have leadership in Nigeria, well, who did this to us? We are asking. They know where they get treatment. They don't need anybody to tell them where. Okay? National consensus to unseat Tinubu is a national consensus according to Tambuwa. I don't know when he starts speaking for Nigeria. If Tambuwa now is the spokesman of Nigeria, that to unseat Tinubu is a national consensus, that is encouraging. But he has to come and convince us because it's not by mouth. They are all politicians. He has to come and show us what he's going to do different if you actually unseat. Because some people will tell you the devil they know is better than danger they've not seen. So if these ones are coming, we've not seen, because they have been in positions in Nigeria. That's one thing why people are looking at all these promise, not that they won't be like, I can see your face. The way you're looking at me, it's like round up.
No. I'm enjoying your analysis.
Wahala, no, they finish. So you want to say we should stop? Nigeria wahala.
I'm afraid
at any day we wake up, we continue where we can.
We have come to that part where I have to tell you to stop.
Pile up and keep piling up.
But thank you so much.
Thank you very much. May God bless all of you who have watched and listened to Signature TV, newspaper headline and review, and all watch everybody across the world that watch. But remember, blessing of God is for those who deserve to be blessed.
God bless you, Chris. Thank you so much for your time. Don't go anywhere. New Day continues after now. To stay with us.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.